Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I just want to play. I just want to throw some color on my face. I haven't really thought out what look I want to achieve with any of this, but I thought I'd film the process, and if it's workable as a video, then I will share it with you. It is 10 o'clock at night, is it? It's 10 after 10 at night, so I'm literally just going to apply this and then wash it all off and go to bed. I am fun bunned up, hair needs to be dyed, it's a whole thing, wearing a gray t-shirt, but this t-shirt is adorable because it's a banana who just got naked, and I love it. I bought it from Shein, and I think it was like $10. If I can find it again, I'll link it down below just for the lulz in case naked bananas are up your alley as well. So I was looking at like the rest of my palettes and trying to decide what haven't I used in a while and what is actually inspiring me. And frankly, nothing's really inspiring me right now. I am in a rut. I don't know why, but I am in a makeup rut. The creativity's just not there. The motivation's just not there. I've got a lot going on. It's just a lot right now, and I think that's the problem. But the short and long of it, so we're going to use this one. Blood Sugar palette from Jeffree Star. They're going to be releasing the Blood Sugar palette 2 sometime this month. I have no idea what that one's going to look like, but I really did enjoy this one. I haven't used it in a long time for whatever reason, but there are the shades there. They are fun. We're going to do this. So let's do this. Okie dokie. I've already primed my eyes. I used the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and I did set that with an eyeshadow that is similar to my skin tone. Like I said, it's 10 o'clock at night, so I can be as loud and bold with the color as I want to be, because I'm not going anywhere. But I am going to start with a more subtle transition shade. I am going to pick up this shade right here called Tongue Pop. Is that right? Yes, Tongue Pop. And shove that up under the brow bone. I love the shape of this brush, but it splays like a mother effer. And then those little splayed bristles just like to work their way right into my eyeball. That's not pleasant. So I'm going to shove that up here. So, as I said, there is a lot going on. Work is busy. I am basically living at the courthouse this week. My matter on Monday went spectacularly well, although it was a very frustrating day. But my matter today did not go very well. You win some, you lose some, and unfortunately the law is what it is, and the circumstances are going to dictate how that turns out for people. And then I have another matter later this week that I honestly don't know what's going to happen with. I actually don't mind going into court matters not knowing what's going to happen, because at least then the bar is squarely on the ground and everybody's expectations are kind of like, oh, we're going to roll with it and see what happens. So that's kind of where I'm at with that one. As well, Bennett has genetic testing coming up in a few weeks' time. Well, more like a month's time. And it's starting to get a little stressful for me because I really I want the results now. Like I want to know what's going on with him. If you are new to my channel and you don't know, Bennett is my almost 2-year-old son, and he has one leg that is a little bit longer and a little bit chunkier than the other, which in and of itself really doesn't sound concerning, except that the doctors are concerned because they don't know if the short leg is just slow or if the longer leg is fast. And if the longer leg is faster, then the genetic reasons as to why that's happening can have the side effect of increased risks of cancer and various other issues. So until he has the genetic testing, we don't know, and he undergoes cancer screening every 3 months in the form of blood work and an ultrasound, a full abdominal ultrasound looking at his kidneys and all that kind of thing. So it's not pleasant for him. He cries, he screams, it's awful, but it's important, so we do it. I'm just looking for a brush. You know what? Let's go balls to the wall. We're going to pick up the shade Prick and shove that into the crease and blend until we decide not to. I don't know. I've got no plan. No plan. This is me flying by the seat of my pants here. Okay, so that's Bennett. For myself, I also have to have some medical stuff done. Nothing exciting. I have to have allergy testing done. I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to like Tide Pods, like laundry pods, because I was for a number of months breaking out in terrible hives. And they would start on my stomach and move to my back and down my arms, or start on my arms and move to my stomach and up my back, or whatever. And then they started going up my neck and onto my face. Very itchy, red, inflamed, looked like I'd been whipped, like raised welts kind of deal. And Barry took some pictures of my back in full-on welt assault, and the doctor took a look at it and was like, oh my god. Which is never really the reaction that you want from your doctor. You kind of want them to be like, yeah, that's not the worst I've seen. When they're like, oh my god, that's a little scary. And so, because it was spreading onto my face, the doctor also prescribed me an EpiPen, so now I have to carry an EpiPen. Just in case I have that reaction and my breathing is compromised, then I have an EpiPen. God help me if I ever have to use it. The pharmacist, who's like, so if you have to use it, I suggest that you call 911 at the same time. I'm like, don't worry. If I ever had to inject myself with a spring-loaded needle, you best be sure I'm going to be needing some sort of medical intervention after the fact. You take me not to the ER, but to the psych ward, because I will be in full-on panic mode at that point. I guarantee you. Needles and I, not a good working relationship. So there's that. And I got the call about my allergy testing appointment, and they're like, so you can't have had a reaction within 8 weeks or else you'll test positive and it'll be false and blah blah blah. I'm like, if I could avoid a reaction for 8 weeks, I probably wouldn't need allergy testing, because I would just continue to avoid what's triggering it. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out. We'll play that one by ear, I guess. So there's that, and then I also have to have an MRI on my hip because I have had increasingly bad hip pain since about September, and an ultrasound and an x-ray did not shed any light on what's going on. So my doctor thinks it may be a torn muscle or a torn grouping of muscles or bursitis. My hypochondriac, anxiety-ridden self thinks that it's a tumor, but we'll find out. So here's hoping that it's not, but I am queen of the worst case scenario, and to me the only logical explanation is that clearly I have some sort of cancer. And then segueing from that, the doctors are fairly certain that my mother, in fact, does have cancer. They have found a mass in her bowel. She was meant to go today for surgery to explore the mass, I guess, or the surrounding area for staging. Like, I'm not quite clear on the details of that. But they weren't able to complete that test because her bowels weren't as cleared out as they need to be, so she's going to have to redo it, which is horrible because she was supposed to get all the results today, and then obviously that would lead to treatment plan and all that kind of thing. So there's been a lot going on, and makeup just has not been my top priority as a result. Okay, I feel like I need to deepen up the crease a bit. I also feel like I'm really yellow on screen. I don't know how to do like white balance and all that crap. What shade am I going to do? You know what, I'm going to go in with Fresh Meat. This one right here, and throw that into the crease to try and deepen things up a bit. So that's that. And we all have our burdens to carry, I suppose, but right now it's all a little much. And Bennett has entered the terrible twos a little bit early, and he is a living nightmare. This little boy is the most adorable thing in the world. Like, absolutely most adorable. I'll move over. I'm going to insert a picture, or potentially two, over here. He is adorable. I, at times, just want to throw him out the window. He is stubborn as anything. He has developed super picky eating habits, and if he doesn't like what he is presented with, he just picks it up by the handful, mushes it up, and then throws it on the floor. Like, do you really need to, really? Like, could you just not mush it up? Because then it's easier to pick up. But no, that is his preferred method of handling what displeases him. And he has also discovered that he just really enjoys being naked. So we put him down for a nap on the weekend. He's also able to get out of his crib now, so we are going to make the switch over to a big boy bed soon, but I'm trying to push out for another couple of months. But he can escape his crib. We have a big soft like armchair at the end of it, so he lands on there and then he goes about his business and plays, except on the weekend he took all of his clothes off. He took his diaper off, and before exiting his crib he decided to take a gigantic poop in his crib. Like, alarmingly large. He is not a large child, and I'm not entirely sure how he had that much inside of him, but he did. And then he escaped his crib, and then he decided, hey man, let's get creative. And he either took a secondary poop or he reached into the initial load, grabbed some, and then decided to smear it into his carpet and empty out his dresser drawers and smear his clothes into it. It was truly horrifying. Our daughter, God bless her soul, so back it up. I asked Barry to go and check on Bennett because I hadn't heard him in a while, and Barry was going upstairs anyways, so he did. And all I hear from him is, Bennett, no, why? Why, Bennett? To which I ran upstairs to see just what was creating that particular outburst, and was hit with the stench. Like, the bog of eternal stench could not possibly have smelled worse than this. And if you get that reference, we can totally hang. I'm going to start unlining my lower lash line with this deep purple here called Coma. So Aspen ran upstairs with me, took a look, took a sniff, and then promptly ran into the bathroom and threw up. Thankfully she got it in the toilet, but that's just how bad it was. And Barry and I just divided and conquered. God bless my husband. He jumped on the grenade of actually having to clean up the bedroom, whereas I just ran the bathtub and threw my poop-covered sun into it and let the bubbles soak the poop off. So we've now gotten wise. We bought some sleepers that don't have feet, and he now wears them backwards. Because sleep sacks ain't got nothing on him. He can figure out the side zipper and all that. So he's been a challenge. He intersperses all of that with periods of just pure sweetness and cuddling, and I love it. And then at other times he is inconsolable. He just cries. We can't figure out why. And I feel really badly for him because he can't explain what it is that he wants. All he knows is that he doesn't want what he has. And it'll get better as he develops his language a little bit more. And I know it's just a phase, but living through those phases, it doesn't make it easier that you know it's just a phase. It is still difficult. And parenthood is not for the faint of heart. So I think between all of those factors, that's why I haven't really been doing a lot of filming. What the hell, why not? Let's carry down the purple theme and we'll go with Root Canal, this really pretty vibrant orchid shade here, and I'll buff out that shade Coma underneath. This might end up looking altogether very clownish, but we're all friends here, right? I'm gonna bring that down here. Oh, you suck. I don't really know what else to talk about. There's nothing super exciting going on in my life, I can tell you that. As most of you may know, I am a lawyer by trade. And I watched Kathleen Light's video tonight. She posted it today regarding the winding up of KL Polish, or at least of her exit from KL Polish. And she was like, she didn't go into all the details, so if you haven't seen it, basically she's saying that she had a partnership and her partners began making decisions more and more frequently without her input, and she was feeling increasingly more and more uncomfortable in her own brand and felt like she was being squeezed out, this and that and the other thing, and has decided to walk away, but there's certain legal requirements that she still has to fulfill and all this kind of thing because of contracts, and she can't give the details again because of legal issues, and trying to walk that line between sharing her opinion on the matter and avoiding a defamation claim. But she does say that it's very important to have your lawyers review your agreements and contracts and this and that. And she's aiming it more towards smaller influencers who may be getting brand deals and things like that. But I may as well, as I'm finishing up what's turning out to be not a truly horrifying look, if I do say so myself, that I think that that is very, very good advice, and particularly in my area of practice, which is family law. So if you are separating, don't do an agreement by yourself and hope for the best. This one is Candy Floss, and I'm going to put that on the inner portion of my lid. Is that the one I'm going to use? Yes, it is. Yeah, you know, most people won't cut their own hair, so if you won't go to that extent, why would you enter into a contract dealing with all of your matrimonial assets and your children without getting some legal advice on it? So that is just my little PSA for the day, is that at least here where I practice, those kind of agreements where people enter into them themselves and think that they have done themselves justice, oftentimes one party is at a disadvantage in terms of negotiating power and confidence and information and all that kind of thing. And usually those agreements tend to be a little one-sided, and often they are overturned eventually. So while I think it's great for people to sit down and really talk about how they want to resolve these kind of issues, I do strongly encourage everybody to have those points of agreement reviewed by a lawyer and get some legal advice on everything, because you just don't know what the implications may be. Likewise, if you are getting married, prenups have a bad rap, but they're incredibly important. And particularly if you're going into a marriage later on in life and you have some assets, or you own a home, or you have other children or anything like that, it is definitely worth the discomfort of negotiating a prenup with somebody, because ultimately that will help, hopefully, to avoid those kind of issues in the future. Okay, that's enough of my legal talk at you. I'm going to use this stark white shade here called Glucose. I'm just going to highlight my brow bone with that, if I can get a proper brush for it. From what I recall, this one is very stark, so I'm going to tap off as much as possible. There we go. So if you guys, okay, jumping around a little bit, but if you guys have any requests for looks using specific palettes. I'm not going to sit here and list every palette that I have so you can pick and choose from it, but I have a lot. So chances are I very well may have the palette that you are requesting. Or even if there's like certain color combinations that you want, that would really help me out if you could leave me a comment down below on that. As per usual, my camera overheated, so I just finished up. All I did was applied liner. For liner, I used the Grandiose liner from Lancome in, I can never read these because they're tiny and typically in French. It's the purple one. I think they only have one purple one. I can't read that without a microscope, unfortunately. For mascara, Marc Jacobs. I received these from Influenster, so this is the Marc Jacobs primer, the Velvet Primer, and then this one is the Velvet Noir Mascara. I have to say I really do like them, I really do. The only point that I would make about the primer is that you gotta work quickly with it. So I typically just do one eye at a time, because if I apply it and then apply this one and then go back or let it dry or get distracted or anything like that, it's really difficult to cover this one up with the black mascara. And this one is like a cream kind of color. So the first time I wore it, I didn't know that. And throughout the day, Barry's like, do you have gold in your mascara? It's like, no, it's this one peeking through. But combined, they are very nice. Would I use this every single day? Probably not, just to save myself the step. And I do find that the Velvet Noir is very nice on its own. Put them in combination and you don't really need false lashes. I'll bump it in so you can see a little bit closer what I'm talking about, but they really do add, it really, like the primer really does add volume and length to your lashes, and I find that I can layer it up without everything becoming clumpy or gross looking, and it doesn't really flake down during the day. So overall, I do think they are very good products. They are 33 Canadian each. That makes this a $66 duo before taxes. I can't really sit here and say that you need this in your life, because $66 for a mascara is a little much. Like, it's nice, but it's not like, it's not going to change your life or make you breakfast or anything like that. Moving on to lips, I have a bit of a combo going on. I went in first with the Fenty Gloss Bomb in Fussy, and I found that it was just a little too sheer and not bringing enough to the table. So then I layered on some of the Bite Beauty French Press lip gloss in Salted Caramel, just to add a little bit of depth to it. And that's what we're working with here. All right, let me bump you in so you can see how the eyes turned out, and then we'll wrap this up. So there's the finished eye look there. I have to say I really like all these colors together. I love that like electric corally kind of shade going on there. I think it's so pretty. These shadows just impress me so much. They're so beautiful. You saw as I applied, they blend so nicely. You can build up the pigmentation, but it's not patchy at all. Like, these are just fantastic shadows to work with. I know some people have very strong feelings about Jeffree Star, but I like his shadows. That's what I gotta say about that. For eyeliner, like I said, I used the Grandiose. This is not one that with like the wand that bends. I really, for the life of me, can't figure out what the functionality of that is. But that's that purple one. And then for my waterline on the lower lash line, I used the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, just for something different. I often gravitate towards brown or black in the waterline, but I thought, what the hell? Why not punch it up a little bit and we'll use white? So that's what I did. And then I was somewhat terrified bumping in quite this close, because that exposes everything. But you can see the mascara, like the lashes are quite fluffy and curled, but they're not clumped together. I don't have the spider leg thing going on. I don't have like 4 eyelashes left. So it is a very nice mascara, but again, if you're buying both products, it's $66 Canadian, and that's an awful lot of money to spend on mascara. There are fantastic drugstore options like the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. There's a new one from them as well, the one that I keep raving about in the weird tube. What one is that? Hold. The L'Oreal Unlimited Mascara. This is the one here. It is, I guess I can put it so you can actually read it. Again, it has that weird neck thing, which I don't really understand. Alright, so now I'm going to wash my face and go to bed. Thanks for hanging out with me. Like I said, if you do have any color combinations that you'd like to suggest or request, or even color combination challenges, some things that you don't think would necessarily go together, just sort of test my creativity to see if I can pull something out, feel free to leave a comment down below, or if there's a palette that you'd like to see me do a look or two with, again, let me know down below, and if I have it, I'm happy to do that. It may take me some time to get them up if there are a few requests, obviously, but I find it really helpful when you guys make suggestions, especially when I'm sitting in the middle of a makeup rut. Thank you so much for being a part of that and for watching this video. I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.